Hi, I'm Marci Kobayashi and welcome to my workspace. Today I wanted to share with you something from my book, Finding Yoyu. And first of all, if you don't know what that word Yoyu is, it's a Japanese word and it's one that has helped me a lot to try to keep and find the balance in my life. Yoyu is used when we talk about having enough time or not having enough time, having enough money or not having enough money, having enough kind of mental wherewithal. So we can say, oh, I have Yoyu, I don't have enough Yoyu. So it's used for anything when you are trying to talk about whether you have enough of whatever it is you need to do the thing that you're trying to do, or if you don't have enough. So for me, the year, especially year 2015, was pretty tough, and it was really about balancing my energy and my time and money, everything, to try to figure out how to get through and support my family. And I started writing then about it, and I've finished various versions of the book, and I'm getting ready to publish it. And people are always asking me, Marci, when do we get to read the book? When is the book coming out? And it's coming. I needed to add a little bit more to it, but there's some things I'd like to go ahead and just share now with you. And so I'm going to start, and I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Irene, because it was her idea and her suggestion for me to try this, to just share parts of the book with you like this. And so thank you, Irene. This one is for you today. So I'm starting at the beginning with a part of the book that will probably come at the beginning, but maybe moved around a bit, but enjoy. And I'm going to be reading off the screen in front of me. So if I look like I'm looking at something funny, it's because it's the screen in front of me. So here we go. How do you do it, Marci? You're so amazing. You're more Japanese than a Japanese person. You're the epitome of a Japanese bride. Your in-laws must be so happy. I hear these comments whenever I tell Japanese people that I take care of my in-laws. You might think these comments make me happy, pleased, or even satisfied with my contribution and effort. Instead, they irritate me. I have no doubt that the comments are meant as a compliment, but unfortunately, I find them more annoying than pleasing. Of course, I would be lying if I said they didn't please me a little. Sure, there's part of me that feels proud. I want the acceptance and approval. I want to know that I am doing a good job, and like most caregivers, I worry that I'm not doing enough. What annoys me is that people make my life here in Japan, and especially what I do with and for my in-laws, seem like some kind of miracle. Not so much because a gal raised in another country could do it, though some are amazed by that. It's more like they can't believe anyone would do it. And this is so far from the truth. I see evidence all around me of people taking care of their elders. My neighbor who takes home-cooked meals down the street every day so her mother can pretend she still lives on her own. My friend who quit his job in the big city and started over with a new career so he could live with his mom as dementia sets in. My former co-worker who gave up his lunch hour to ride his bicycle over to the nursing home to check on his mom every day. Yes, some of our elders are neglected. Some of our elders are marginalized. There are tragic stories in the news of an old one who died alone and wasn't discovered until weeks later. It breaks our hearts, and we vow not to let it happen to anyone in our family. These stories of neglect, loneliness, and despair hit home for me because my grandfather took his own life alone, and it was days before anyone discovered. He didn't live across the country. He lived only miles away. My father and his sisters lived in the same state, less than an hour away, and yet the unthinkable happened. It wasn't many years later that my father discovered he had a brain tumor and died shortly thereafter. The connection is one of those unspeakables in our family. Not that we are forbidden to talk about it, it's more that we don't, which is unusual because just about any topic is fair ground at the dinner table. We can talk about poop, Periods, love, religion, death, reincarnation, anything goes. But I don't recall ever talking about the coincidence of my grandfather's shot to the head and my father's death at 55 from a malignant brain tumor. The rational side of me would say, no, Dad's tumor was due to all the years of sitting in front of a radar as an air traffic controller. And if not that, then the few short years he served as a pest exterminator and exposed his dear body to a host of carcinogenic chemicals. Rational thinking aside, I wonder about the karma between my father and his father. As heart-wrenching as both of their transitions were, I believe both men are in a different kind of peace now. I hope whatever sadness, guilt, or responsibility each felt towards this life has been forgiven. I hope they are light and free. I was too late to help my grandfather. I was fully occupied by college life and didn't see the signs that something was not right. I know it was his choice, and even if I had called or visited more often, it might not have made a difference. Even if all his children and grandchildren called or visited more often, it might not have made a difference. Still, I wish I could have tried. Though I carry some regret regarding my grandfather, I also carry gratitude. My grandfather's shocking death gave me the courage to immediately choose to leave Japan and a full-time job when my father discovered he had cancer. Thanks to my grandfather, I could choose to be as fully present as possible for my father and his swift transition out of this incarnation. I could make the same choice without question a few years later when my mother had a stroke and needed help recovering. I wish I could say I have no regrets regarding Reiko, my mother-in-law, or Oka-san, as I called her. By the time we realized she needed our help, it was too late for her to fully recover. It could have been different. I see that now and wish we could turn back the clock. If we had stepped in earlier, we could have given her more support. If we had all understood earlier that the real problem was Masamoto, my father-in-law, or Oto-san as I call him, then his wife might have maintained her vibrancy for longer. I intended to write about Oto-san and share how it is we came to care for him as he navigates Alzheimer's, but if it weren't for his wife's illness, if it weren't for Oka-san's illness, we wouldn't have known that Oto-san needed help. Therefore, my mother-in-law's illness is where my story starts. And you'll have to wait until the next video to find out how it all got started. Thank you so much for listening today, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll stay tuned and listen to the next installment when it comes out. I enjoy sharing these and bringing you along my life here in Japan. Bye for now.